My wife called male desires problematic, so I made her desires impossible. Sometimes the student becomes the teacher. Update 2. The mask slipped for just a moment, long enough for me to see the calculation behind her eyes. The quick mental scramble to regain control of the narrative. I have no idea what you're talking about, she said, but her voice had lost its earlier confidence. I think you're being paranoid.
Am I?
I walked over to her laptop, still sitting where she'd left it the night before. Should we find out? The panic in her eyes was immediate and unmistakable. You went through my computer. That's a complete violation of privacy. Funny, I said, not touching the laptop, but keeping my hand hovering over it. I don't remember you being so concerned about privacy when you were documenting my every behavior for your online support group. The silence stretched between us like a taut wire. She was calculating, trying to figure out exactly how much I knew and how much damage control she needed to do. Those are private conversations with friends, she finally said. Women supporting each other through relationship challenges. Relationship challenges, I repeated. Is that what we're calling psychological manipulation now? She tried to redirect again, pulling out the victim card. I can't believe you're attacking me for having friends who care about my well-being. This is exactly the kind of aggressive behavior that, stop. The word came out sharper than I'd intended, but it had the desired effect. She stopped talking immediately. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going on that fishing trip. I'm resuming my poker nights, and you're going to explain to me why you thought it was acceptable to turn our marriage into a social experiment. You can't just, she started. I can, I interrupted. And I am. Because here's the thing you seem to have forgotten while you were busy reforming me. I'm not your project, I'm your husband. And if you can't tell the difference, then we have bigger problems than my supposedly primitive hobbies. The color had drained from her face. For the first time in months she was the one looking uncertain, the one scrambling for control. We need to talk about this rationally, she said, falling back on therapeutic language. Maybe we should see a counselor. Absolutely, I agreed. Someone neutral who can help us explore why you felt the need to systematically dismantle my personality instead of just asking for what you wanted. The fishing trip was still 3 weeks away, but I could already see the wheels turning in her head. She was planning her next move, probably already composing her forum post about dealing with masculine resistance to growth. But she'd made one crucial mistake in her reformation project. She'd assumed I'd never fight back, that I'd just keep absorbing her manipulations until I transformed into her ideal companion. What she didn't realize was that I'd been taking notes too, and my project was just getting started. The weekend after our confrontation, my wife suddenly became very interested in damage control. She was extra affectionate, cooked my favorite meals, and conveniently forgot to mention any of my habits being problematic. Classic manipulation playbook. When direct confrontation fails, try love bombing. But I wasn't buying it, not when I'd spent the previous week doing some research of my own. While she was at her Wednesday yoga class, the same one she'd been attending for 8 months, I decided to take a deeper dive into her digital footprint. What I found was a treasure trove of hypocrisy that made my blood boil. The Evolved Women's Circle forum wasn't just about reforming husbands, it was a full-scale lifestyle documentation project, where these women shared every detail of their daily lives, seeking validation for purchases, decisions and behaviors that would make a financial advisor weep. My wife, under her username Transforming Tradition, had been quite busy documenting her own evolution. While she was busy labeling my interests as problematic consumer culture, she'd racked up over $3,000 in charges at something called Sacred Wellness Boutique in just 2 months. The itemized list was impressive. Chakra alignment crystals, ethically sourced sage bundles, handcrafted moon water bottles, organic cotton meditation cushions, and a $75 journal specifically designed for intention manifestation. Each purchase was celebrated by the forum as another step in her spiritual journey. But the real gold mine was a document I found in her cloud storage titled Life Optimization Project. It wasn't just about me. It was a comprehensive plan to restructure our entire existence according to her newfound enlightenment. Phase 1 had been masculine behavioral modification, my reformation, which she documented with scientific precision. Each of my hobbies was assessed for its evolutionary potential, and assigned a timeline for elimination or transformation. Phase 2 was financial realignment, redirecting our household budget away from what she termed ego-driven expenditures toward consciousness-expanding investments. Translation: no more money for my interests, more money for her spiritual shopping sprees. Phase 3 was the real eye-opener, social circle curation. She had detailed plans to gradually distance us from friends she deemed unconscious, and integrate us into her new community of evolved individuals. My longtime friendships were specifically targeted for elimination. The document was 43 pages long, 43 pages of calculated manipulation disguised as personal growth. But here's what really got me: her spending breakdown. While lecturing me about the toxicity of consumer culture and masculine materialism, she'd spent more on wellness products in 3 months than I'd spent on fishing gear in 3 years. The Tuesday night pottery class, $80 per session. The weekend retreat in Sedona, $1,500. The monthly subscription to receive artisanal healing stones from various international locations, $240 monthly. Meanwhile, she'd been subtly shaming me for buying a $20 fishing magazine. Now you can watch the third part by pressing share and more.